We learn from elders. We learn from survival. We learned from each other. For trans guys. Wisdom you can feel. Real talk. Collective care. Hey everybody, and welcome to For Trans Guys. I'm Megan.
I'm Zander.
I'm JJ.
I'm Max.
Well, hello, Max, and welcome to the show. You are our fourth trans guy tonight. So welcome. We're glad you're here.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. So some of the people that are listening or watching this episode, they either know who you are or think they know who you are, but why don't you tell them and us, who are you? Who are you, Max? And also, what brings you to the table tonight?
Oh gosh, who am I? I'm still trying to figure that one out. So that's a very good question, Zander. That is an ongoing mystery of life. Who are we, right? Well, I write poetry. I've been writing poetry and giving readings and sometimes sending my work out to be published since I was about 18 years old in a more serious way. And I had a reputation for that before I made the Max movie with Monica Troit in 1991. It was released in 1993. And at that point, I think my reputation as some kind of trans, I don't want to say icon, but as, a trans guy kind of overtook the poetry part. And so right now in my life, what I'm trying to do is kind of put that part back together. It doesn't have as much to do with identity politics. It really has to do with just writing and with poetry and that the investigation that is poetry and the adventure. But I did write a memoir, also called The Testosterone Files. And I'm going to be writing probably at least another memoir. And also... because it's fun and I think it's important. And also, I'm working on a novel. I've been trying to work on this novel for years now, and I think I might finally be getting the right angle on it. So that should be a lot of fun. And I've been in a ton of movies. That was kind of an accident, one led to the next one. So, and that's always fun.
Absolutely.
And I'm really grateful for all the books that you write, because then it makes me feel like a normal person, of someone who has to keep putting books out all the time. But I'm also aware that there are some people who aren't watching the video right now on YouTube. They're listening on the podcast. And I'm wondering if there's anything about who you are, especially since you're a poet. Would you like to describe yourself to those who are just hearing your voice?
Well, let's see. I write, I've been influenced a lot by surrealism. I've been told I write in the French tradition, which is interesting since I don't speak French, but I'm trying. I'm trying. And have been influenced a lot by the Beats and the language poets, which is an avant-garde, innovative poetry movement that got started really back in the 70s, I think, in New York and San Francisco. So I've been influenced by them. I wouldn't say I'm a part of them. But, identity politics or identity, of course, makes its way into my work no matter what. But I really write from kind of an innovative perspective where it's like a camera and, it's more stream of consciousness. It's more like a film. I'm not necessarily always telling a story. I'm not grounding narrative. And I think a lot of people will come to the work wanting to find meaning. What is this about? And it's like, well, that might be secondary. It's more about the language and the music and the imagery. There's a lot of imagery. So, and I think it's kind of metaphysical. There's some metaphysical elements, though they aren't necessarily traditional religious elements. So it's some weird stuff, man. It's really weird.
I mean, I'm sort of more of a traditional faith leader, but I've always sort of thought of you as like a wisdom keeper, moral compass keeper. even if it's from a more like psychedelic punk lens. Like you just have always, when I've been around you, been someone who sort of is like, I don't, I mean this in like the best of ways, but like personality wise, you're a sturdy person, right? You're someone for whom like, gravitas would be the word that I would use. I don't know if you self-identify that way, but that's sort of like the vibe that I've always felt like you've carried into a room. What do you think about that?
Well, that's interesting. Gravitas, that's a new one. I know I'm getting older, so you get more gravitas. Hopefully, the older you get, the older and saggier you get more gravitas. All right.
Or gravity. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Gravity.
But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No.
No, I was just really curious. Like, I love the lens that you look through your poetry. That just it's beautiful how you encapsulated that. And it makes me really curious, is that lens, because you've been writing since you're 18, like, is that lens a way that you heal? Or is it a kind of survival mechanism to navigate the storyline in the way that you do, as opposed to trying to solve for something or make meaning or make it easy for us to like figure it out, that you're intentionally being in that space?
I think it enhances thinking. It enhances perception. It's sort of a joyride. When I sit down to write a poem, I don't necessarily know where it's going to end up. And I think there is a transmutation of elements in my consciousness and in my life story. And that occurs at its best when it's really happening. And hopefully I can, uh, hopefully my listeners, some of them can be affected by that as well. And you can go on your own journey with that. And also through having to sort of reach sometimes, because it's kind of what's called difficult poetry. It's not always obvious. Maybe you can, kind of sharpen yourself. You can sharpen yourself the way I sharpen myself when I write it. And thank you, Megan, for your kind words.
Max, I'm wondering, along this life journey of yours and all the different scenes you've been in and all the different places you've been and the things you've done, where has family come in for you in your life? Either your biological family or chosen family, or maybe both. What kind of, I don't know, what place has family been for you throughout your life?
Well, my mother's from the Blood Reserve. I'm an actual card-carrying treaty Indian, Kainai, and also a member of the Blood Band. And my father was or is Hispanic from Taos, New Mexico. And then there's other elements too that will one day emerge in the story, I'm sure. But in any case, my parents are both still alive. And in fact, right now I'm living with them. They're really elderly. They're really, really old. They're like in their 90s. And yeah, so I'm helping them out. They're helping me out a little, but I'm definitely helping them out, making sure they stay upright. Basically, don't fall down the stairs. Uh, I mean, my mother still drives. She's 93 years old. So, my dad quit driving when he was around that age. He's 95. He'll be 96 in a couple months. So, I haven't always been super close to my parents, like a lot of queer trans people. It wasn't like there was a moment where they said, we don't want to see you, but my mother certainly threatened. And, I went to San Francisco, and got away for a long time, even though I did always talk to them. So it's kind of ironic that I should be one of the kid who's here taking care of them, right? But that I think often happens with the queer or trans kid, actually, from what I've learned. But I've always had an extended family, strong extended family. Being Native, what that means is you've got all these relatives, cousins, aunts, uncles. I mean, a lot of them are deceased now, but still, I grew up with like uncles, aunts. It was much more of a feeling of extended family with the people on the reserve. And my father was in the military. So I was an Army brat. I lived everywhere. I mean, I was born in Germany. My mom's from Canada. My dad's from here, and we lived all over the United States. We never lived anywhere, usually for more than a year and a half. We lived in Europe again. We lived in San Francisco. We lived in Washington, Maryland, Kansas, all these places, Oklahoma. So, actually, chosen family. My friends are so important to me. you know Maybe it's because I'm an Aquarius, I don't know, but like a lot of trans and queer people, of course, my chosen family, my friends are really important. So
Well, I wonder a little bit about for those who might be either discovering you for the first time or who like are, I don't know if there's a better poetic way to say this, but sometimes people want to support the trans community and they support us in ways that are a little too much. Um, are there ways if people want to like connect with your work or support you and what you're up to? What are your preferred ways that they support you?
well, watch the movies, buy, if you're not into poetry, there's the memoir. There are various films. Framing Agnes, I think, was the last one, which was quite a success. It got a prize at Sundance. Um, of course, there's my Substack. If you want to venture in and check the poems out, definitely do so. Um, I also write essays there, and I also reprint essays that I've written elsewhere. Most of it's free. If you want to be a paid member, that would be great. uh, so I mean, basically that's it. Also, that's just stuff about me. But if you want to support the trans community, go out there and well, say good things about us to people. Yeah, say good things about us. It's simple. We're just people. The stuff that's being said about us now, it's really ugly, and it's very discouraging right now for a lot of us. So if you're not trans, be an ally, meaning go out there and be an active friend. You don't have to, crucify yourself or get yourself in trouble in any way. But just, if you hear something that's not true, put put a good word in. Uh, that helps. I think that really helps.
I guess I would also like wonder if you have a word for anyone who is too nervous to push print on their poetry and put it out in the world. Like that's one thing that I think not everyone is able to do. A lot of people have the book they want to write. Not everybody has the book they're willing to push print on. And like, do you have
Uh,
any advice for those folk?
just do it. You know, maybe that's not very good advice. Go to open readings. That's one of the ways I started. Also, take a workshop. I actually was writing poetry when I was a teenager, younger than 18, but I really learned a lot of craft when I went to University of Colorado and I studied initially under Bill Matthews. I also went to Naropa in the summer sessions. Back then when it was actually Bill Burroughs and Allen Ginsberg and people like that, and Waldman. And Waldman's still there, but the other two, are deceased. And Gregory Corso was there. So I mean, I absorbed all that. Get around poets, read poetry, go to open readings. Read to your friends. Try not to take the criticism to heart. But think about what is poetry to me, and what am I, which poets do I like and why? What is a poem? And so I would say experiment, try doing different things, write in different styles, until you find one that seems more like you. And yeah, just get out there. Everybody's scared.
Everybody's scared, just do it. I'll take it. Well, the thing that we let people do is you get to have the last word or words or chapters. But we will do our best not to interrupt you. What is it that is on your heart in this moment?
Oh gosh. Um, Again, I think this is just such a difficult time for trans people and for a lot of people. We're not the only ones. For immigrants, for, for LGBT people in general, uh, for women, actually for everybody, I think, you know. Uh, so it's a very difficult time, and I think we just have to take heart, take strength, um, get support, be brave, be brave. You have nothing to lose. Well, maybe you do. Maybe you have a lot to lose, God knows. But on the other hand, you've got to live with yourself. So get out there and try and make a difference in any way you can, even if it's just, signing a petition or reading something and passing it on, and try and think critically about things. I think read all sides. I've really gotten a lot in my life out of reading both sides, all sides. There's more than two sides. And, things aren't always so simple. So definitely, and be kind. Be kind to each other. I think in the trans community, sometimes we're not always as kind to each other as we should be. And, we should know the effects of that more than any group. And also just be kind to people in general, and you can be tough and still be kind.